spastically infatuated with the in-between. The ups and downs, the curves and the rounds. I'll bring it to your city or your hometown. I'll go back in time when the feeling was fine. When funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way. A bigger celebration than your birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. And I have seen the world pristine, funk you up in the bushes, funk you down in the trees. Now look around, all the frowns, the yellow, the white, the red and the brown. And keep in mind, it never costs a dime, 'cause funkin' is free, I remember the time. Now look today, the streets are gray, time to take it back to yesterday. Funkin' in the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. It was good in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt a fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt a fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt a fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt a fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live!
And we are back.
Welcome to the Underdog Journey. My name is Wes. This guy is David. This guy is Matt. And we are live at the Opera House Columbus. In case you couldn't tell.
Yes. It was quite a bit of a drive. So I actually had a customer meeting today that allowed me to get a little free time. And I'm like, all right, because we had planned to do it on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a customer meeting today that allowed me to get into the general vicinity, and it was only a couple hour drive to get the rest of the year.
Right.
I got to take advantage of this. So I ran in here, and I have, the week doesn't slow down, but we're doing this, we're back out, but we're here. We've got a decent crowd out here tonight. So if you're in the general vicinity of the Opera House Columbus, you need to come on down. We got some seats here reserved. If you come up and just give us a chin up like a sub.
One of those. All right, so we always, since we're here, we always have to ask, what do you think the over/under is on some a drunk person coming up here on stage?
Okay, so the table over here to my right has been really interesting. The table over here to my far right has the children.
True,
They
true.
seem extremely interesting.
Yep, kids love us. It's true.
Now, just going off history, I'm looking around trying to find a drunk woman who's going to wander up here on the camera.
And that is not a chauvinist statement. It's just based on historical
Based on
fact.
historical data, there usually is 1, 2, 3 of the ladies in the audience.
People love coming up taking selfies with us. That's what it is.
They love doing selfies and they love being woo girls. Woo! Yeah. So.
And occasionally the woo frat boy. It happens. Yeah, no. Also, there's a reason why we didn't give Matt a microphone.
Yes. Mainly because we didn't know he was going to be here up on the stage.
So,
had
yeah.
known, I have the other thing we have. There are ways that we probably
we could make it work. I do need to buy another one of these though. These good mics.
Yeah, these are really good mics. It's good stuff. So how has it been since we last spoke?
Since we last spoke, it has been fan-tiggity-tastic. It's never rain Ohio, so it's basically cold and dreary all the time.
Bro, I live in upstate New York. Cold and dreary is what we get.
That's your summertime.
Yeah, I was talking with a company down in Panhandle of Florida, and I'm talking to them. It's negative 17 in my house. Wind blowing and snow is just everywhere.
Is it 70 and sunny down there?
And they're like, yeah, it's like 60 every day too. It's like 68. And,
right. Oh, poor babies.
They were trying to offer me a job.
Yeah.
And that was a really good selling point.
You're right. Companies in Florida should always hire people from the north in the winter months. That's actually a really good hiring tactic.
It really is.
If I were an HR, I would totally take that into consideration.
So if you're a business owner in Florida and you're looking for stats and this, don't have anybody, I've got room in my budget. We can offer some or some relocation credit, something along those lines. Reach out to the people in the north. Reach out to
only in the winter months, though. In the winter months.
And pray upon us because we are weak.
We are.
We are weak.
And for good reason. For good reason, too.
Yes, negative 17.
So we got to go through this. Matt, what are you drinking?
Oh, shoot. I was hoping that I could be the one to say it, but I am drinking Jameson's on the Rocks.
Jameson's. Good old-fashioned Irish whiskey.
Says the Irishman down there.
Look. I got to stay true to my roots, man.
So this is from the guy last week.
What are you drinking?
Who was just bad-mouthing Blanton's.
Not me, this guy.
No, this guy right
here. Him right here.
He's all like, that's the matter. It's
so bad. It tastes like Chernobyl runoff.
This is why you're not allowed to drink my Blantons anymore, Matt.
appreciation.
So you're basically an everyman's bourbon drinking kind of guy.
I don't need complications in my life. Jameson's is fine, and Tin Cup is extraordinary.
That is not a bourbon.
Well, that is an Irish whiskey, but he does like the Tin Cup, is why I said that.
Okay. Tin Cup. That's not classified.
Right. Exactly. No, it is not even close to a bourbon.
They were running to their shotguns.
Yeah, no. Stevie Evans, this is not a bourbon, this is Irish whiskey. I was talking about the fact that he likes Tin Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Tin Cup is a great bourbon. So even Evan Graham says Tin Cup is good stuff. You're right.
Is good stuff. So after you drank, several bottles of it with West, I went and bought a bottle of it. I love it. So since I bought the first one, I bought two. I bought one that I leave at my house, and then I have a cigar lounge down the road, and I leave a bottle of. Actually, I think there's like 4 bottles of bourbon. I leave at the lounge under the name Communal, so that anybody goes in and they're like, I'd really like to have a little something. And if they know me, they're like, hey, just hand me one of the Communal.
Check. Can you guys hear us? I'm
Well,
still
I'm
working.
standing back a little further, so let me bring this back into where it normally is, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I think that'll do it.
That's probably the biggest issue is the fact that I was pushing it back so that Willis McGee here could get some words in.
True. So hang on. Check. I think we're good. I think we're gonna be good. Okay.
All right.
So
All
yeah,
right.
thank
So
you,
I'm
thank you,
sure-
Evan Graham. I appreciate the heads up on the audio there. That's look all the joys of live streaming. It
It is.
happens.
So we've talked about that. So before we go any further, are you ready? Are you ready to say your words?
Matt Harmon has words. He's allowed to talk on this show.
Which words am I supposed to be saying?
You were all like, "Hey, I wanted to be the one who said, what are you drinking tonight?"
Oh yeah, what are you drinking tonight?
West.
I'm drinking the Hofbrauhaus Hefeweizen, which is amazing stuff. The
It-
nectar of the gods.
It really is. And Jason, the head brewer here, is just. You know what? I'm going to give him the title. I'm going to bestow upon you, Jason. I'm going to bestow upon you the title of brewmaster. You
know
are.
what? Yeah.
He is a brewmaster, especially coming in and taste that Hefeweizen.
Right.
It's top. It's top.
So
I've never had one better.
So that's the thing. At most brew pubs or brew houses, they'll have a master brewer at their location. The Hofbrauhaus locations, the U.S. locations anyway, since they're franchised out, they're not allowed to call their head brewer the brewmaster. They're the head
Unless-
brewer, unless it is the brewmaster certified by Germany.
Yeah, so there's certain schools over there in Germany that you can get and actually be basically a master's degree in brewing. And I got to tell you, if they had told me this in high school, that's probably the career path I would have taken.
Hey, so Jeffrey F. Cuss, I'm gonna really screw up your last name, so I'm gonna say Jeffrey F. Kostenick.
Park. I'm guessing this is the
I'm
guy
gonna
from
call
Park
you
Lane.
Jeffrey.
This is Park Lane
From
Tobacconist,
Park
right?
Lane Tobacco.
Yes.
Yes. So, Jeffrey, thank you for these samples. Jeffrey from Park Lane Tobacco. If you want to leave a link to your URL in the comments, we'll put it up on the screen. But David was at the location not too long ago, and he was talking to the guys there. And man, I love your selection. He showed me photos of your place, and it looked like heaven on earth. And I can't wait to dig into this sample of Trout Stream. Trout Stream was one of the first pipe tobaccos I ever smoked, and
Nice.
this stuff is amazing. I love this stuff.
How old were you when you smoked it?
I was about 12. Actually, it was about
He
20
had
years
to a
ago.
grasshopper.
I've been smoking pipes for a long time. I haven't
Nice.
been really into it until recently, but I've been a pipe smoker for about 20 years. I'm much older than I look.
So this place over here, Park Lane, over in Albany, New York. So if you're over there, get Park Lane Tobacconist in Albany, New York. Actually, I say Albany, but it's like he'll probably correct me on here, Boston Spa or something along those lines.
The address on here says 15 Park Avenue, Clifton Park, New York.
Clifton Park. Okay.
Clifton Park, New York.
So it's you got Albany, you got Clifton Park, Boston Spa, Saratoga Springs, and all that stuff's kind of like.
Yeah.
So to me, it's all Albany. To me, it's just, when I do my travel, I'm like, I'm going to Albany.
Right.
And-
The big city New York guy doesn't know his way around New York, is what you're trying to say.
That is nowhere near the big city. The big city's still 3.5 hours away from there, man. Everybody keeps asking me, he's like, "Oh, how far away from the city you live?" Like 4.5 hours.
New York City?
Yeah, not even close. But anyway, so I went over there to Park Lane. I think it was last week. I can't remember. My weeks all blend together. What is today? Today's Wednesday, so it was last week.
Yeah.
And I go in, and I have so I don't care if you're a cigar smoker, okay? And there are sometimes I go and I don't smoke cigars. Sometimes I'll always buy one.
Mm-hmm.
But I love to just sit and talk.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what,
It's the atmosphere of a tobacconist lounge.
it is, oh my God, it's
You
amazing.
just hang out and dudes just talk.
Yes.
It is the best. I want to
Yes.
live. I want to live
So
at a tobacco lounge.
Okay, so, this has nothing to do with political opinions or anything whatsoever.
Uh-oh.
So I go in there,
Okay.
and there's this guy who is now identifying as a woman who just came out to his dad, who was there with him, with his girlfriend,
And they were all at the tobacco lounge?
at the tobacco lounge.
Celebrating?
And we're just sitting there,
Were they, like, having a
smoking
smoke?
cigar
Okay.
and just shooting the breeze.
You know what?
and-
Good for them.
And I'll tell
Good
you
for
what,
them.
this lady, history, and I'm a bit of a history nerd, and so are you, I know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I would talk about something, and and she'd be like, boom, with a fact about it. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. Just having that conversation. So you are going to meet everybody. everybody there that's worth meeting.
That is awesome.
That is worth meeting. If you meet them, if you meet a person at a cigar lounge or a pipe lounge, they're worth meeting. Talk to them.
Oh yeah, and we've had a number of really interesting conversations at these places.
Yes. Oh, I love it. So I used to,
Matt, you got to smoke cigars. That's the thing. We got to get into this.
I don't recommend picking up cigars or tobacco or any kind for anybody, but I do recommend going and visiting. I do recommend going and having that interaction. So I am able now, because I used to smoke cigarettes, and no good comes of that.
18 years.
And
nicotine free.
And I stayed away from it for a very long time. Even having a cigar, I'm like, no, I'm afraid I'll just put this down and be like, no, go get me a pack of Marlboro Lights or Marlboro Reds in a box, and I'm going to smoke every one of them that night. I'm like, But now, I could go, I can have a cigar once every 3 weeks if I need to.
And the problem is a lot of people who don't smoke cigars or pipes get premium tobacco products like pipes and cigars mixed up with cigarettes. It's a completely different thing. 100% different. Yeah. I mean, it's all tobacco, but cigarettes, there's so many chemicals and additives. And with premium tobaccos, it's just tobacco.
Yeah.
And you don't even inhale. You don't inhale a cigar. You don't inhale a pipe.
You don't inhale. So I'll tell you, wow, we have went way off the rails tonight. I will tell you, I find it harder to not inhale or at least get some from a pipe than I do a cigar. Wait, Matt wants to talk. Matt, is what you're about to say okay for this podcast? As far as he can tell.
I've run it
the Underdog journey.
It's okay.
We
don't necessarily condone or condemn, but most likely whatever he's about to say.
So, Dave, I simply wanted to know, do you miss smoking?
No, not really. Not really. There were times, even like 2 and 3 years after I quit, that I would just be like, man, if I could step outside right now with a cigarette, the world would just be better. I enjoyed it, and that was my problem.
I did too.
I literally enjoyed it. Now I have something that takes that away from me, and I can sit there and I can light up a cigar and take 3 hits off of it to keep it lit for an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm not smoking it. It's literally just it's a decoration in my hand, but I'm getting this conversation with other people. And I don't know if all of you at home know this, but I like to talk.
I never would have guessed that about you.
Everybody's like, oh my God, it's such a shock. But yeah, I like to talk, and people at cigar lounges most of the time.
Yeah.
But I also go there when I'm like, you know what, I need to clear and think. So I'll go sit in the corner.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Guess what? Nobody comes up and bugs me. They're like, nope, that dude right there, he's thinking.
Right. Yeah. Well, people get it.
Let them think.
You know what? I've been in my local cigar place, many times before, when they could actually have people in the lounge. That's a different story. And there's always somebody over in the corner just on a laptop, smoking their cigar, doing their thing. People leave it alone. It's a nice, quiet place to relax.
I'll travel in for work, and one of the things I used to do was I used to go down the lobby. They'd bring me alcohol or booze or something. I would sit there, and I'd be uncomfortable as could be. And no offense to hotels. Hotels really do try.
They try.
They do try. But now I'm like, I get my phone out. I'm like, cigar lounge.
Yeah.
And I go there, and I get my laptop up, and I'm working, and they come by. They're like, hey, how about this Monte Cristo XYZ? And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll do that. And it's wonderful. And I'll tell you, my productivity level is like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Because I'm like, I will work very hard to be able to work from here.
Oh, if I could work. What are you laughing at, Matt?
So you're basically saying you're a much better employee if you're allowed to go hang out at a cigar lounge instead of seeing customers during the day.
Do you know what David does all day? Most of the time?
Yes.
Not a clue.
Nobody actually knows what I do. I am. What's that guy from How I Met Your Mother?
Barney?
Yeah, Barney. They're like, for the love of God, what do you do? Please.
He's Neil Patrick Harris, basically.
Yeah, I will.
Well, you always tell people you send emails, which I understand.
I send emails. So right now, currently, my employer has my emails blocked because the IT department can't figure out why I'm emailing people outside of my company.
What?
So they have me blocked as spam.
You have customers who have clients You have customers who have customers that you need to talk to these people.
Plus, you have cigars you need to email.
I don't. All that stuff comes personal, but it is the. I'm sitting here trying to convince these people in the IT of my own company. I'm like, I have to email people that are outside of my company. It's literally my job. It's 90%.
They don't want you emailing people outside of your company?
It was a huge thing.
That's so weird.
So my email's been down since Monday. I've been able to see emails come in, and they're getting angrier and angrier and angrier because I can't reply back.
So they don't have people in your company who need to talk to vendors or anybody outside of the company?
I do a lot of communication.
Sure.
I keep in contact with my customers.
As you should.
Yes, I keep in contact. I let them know what's going on. I let them have, and
there's a missing element to this story.
No. Well, there are missing elements because I am not about to say who I work for, what is happening.
Yeah, we're not going to give the details.
But the pertinent information is all there.
David's new company is called OnlyLifeSafety.com.
No, it's
OnlyPans.
OnlyPans. That OnlyPans.
He's a chef. He's going to be a chef on OnlyPans.com.
I really do think I'm going to take up the gauntlet on the you got to have a hobby.
Yeah.
And go around it and do, I'm going to be a chef one. I mean, I can actually cook. So go and be, cook one day. I'm going to dance.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and
shoot David, nobody wants to see that.
Yes, they do. It will be grade A comedy. Watch Fat Dave dance.
If you guys want to see David Liffingwell dance, leave a comment down below.
Yeah, visit me on my OnlyPans page.
OnlyPans page?
OnlyPans page. OnlyPans. See, that girl, I'm telling you, she should win Entrepreneur of the Year.
You got to give some background because people now might not know what you're talking about.
So if you weren't here last week, was it last week?
Last week.
Last week we were talking about there's a YouTube/Facebook page that you can go to, and the lady's a baker. And the name of her baking channel is OnlyPans, P-A-N-S, as a play off of OnlyFans, and it is ingenious marketing.
Oh, that's a great name. That's a great name.
Just, when you run across something that's just when you're nerds about business like we are, when you run across things like that, you're just like, that is awesome, and you got to give a crazy amount of respect. And, you tip the hat to you got there first. It's just amazing.
Yeah. So Evan Graham says he wants to see you dance only if you lose the top. And Jeffrey says if we send him a link, he'll show us the inside of the shop. But Jeffrey, I'll tell you what, we'll try and get in touch with you to get like a full tour and do that whole thing on a different show. I think that could be a great show to talk and actually bring you on to interview. I think it'd be awesome to talk about the business of running a tobacco shop.
So Jeffrey, mainly because I'm as good as I am in other things, names just escape me. If I were to say to you, puppy dog, would I be on the right track? Because I'm talking to West about this idea after, so that we can sculpt up some ideas. We're not going to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what he's talking about right now, but David knows.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know yet, but we're going to talk about it after the show tonight because literally we had no time at all. We came in, we set up, we sat down, we broadcast.
That was it.
That was what we did today. And as soon as we're done here, we're tearing down and going, what?
I have something to say. So I'm trying to do a new art project today, and I had to email security to get them to help. Ask me what it is.
You ask him. He's got my mic.
What is it?
Okay, I can't hear you because I don't have headphones, but I'll pretend like you said, what is it?
What is it?
So there's a Japanese artist who's shooting darkroom paper with a taser.
Okay.
And so I want to replicate it. So I asked security to bring their tasers over. I got to go through their supervisor, so I'm just waiting to hear back. So to bring the tasers into the darkroom and shoot this darkroom paper, not with the prongs, but like just touch it with the taser. And it should develop into the electrical patterns of a taser.
So I don't think they're legally allowed to do that.
In what possible world would they not be legally allowed to do that?
Well, I know when a police officer discharges their taser, it's basically treated like firing a lethal weapon, and they need to file all kinds of reports to show why they fired their taser off.
This is security guards. I don't think they're held to the course. They said, hey, I got no problem with it if the boss says it's okay.
All right.
It's about art. You're used to be an artist. Where's your open mind?
I genuinely hope they taser you. I would love that.
Next week on the Underdog Journey, Matt Harmon gets tased by campus security.
You know what? That would get good
Our
views.
viewership
That would get
would be
great
through
views.
the roof.
Dude. Yeah.
If we could arrange this, okay?
No.
So the viewers want to see it. They've spoken.
No, honestly, I think you getting tased would be a better idea. I'm too fat and old to get tased.
How many heart attacks have you had?
None yet.
Okay, don't tase the guy who's already had the heart
That's
attack.
right.
Tase the guy who hasn't. West, you're up.
You know what? I would get tased. I would get tased. I would do it. If you guys, if you find a security officer who wants to tase me, I'll do it.
I can eBay a freaking taser here, man, bro. We can have it tomorrow. Actually, there's probably 15 places here within a half mile. We're right now not 3 miles from the Ohio State University.
You got to say the. You can't say just Ohio State.
We can say Ohio State University with them. It's the for sports-related thing.
Yeah,
So people
I have
can't
nothing
use the
nice
word.
to say about.
So yeah, me neither.
The.
We have things afoot on that front. Things afoot on that front. I like how that sounds.
Things afoot on the front.
Things afoot on that front. We'll go into it. So what's Jeffrey saying over there?
Jeffrey says he doesn't run the shop. He's just been the manager since the he's been there since the shop opened.
Excellent.
Basically.
So let's go back
So-
over. So they sent you a sample of. You talked about something about some trout.
Yeah. So there's a couple they sent us that you provided. So I'm not sure what Blackmore is, but it looks pretty good. Let's see. I'm gonna say it's a English blend with some black Cavendish in there, nice and sweet, very tasty stuff. Looking forward to it.
No idea what.
And then there is something called Trout Stream, which is a really good blend. Again, this is one of my first tobacco blends I ever smoked in a pipe. And man, it's an aromatic, so it's going to be nice and sweet, and it's going to be a lot like that Lane 1Q that I gave you. It's going to be a lot like
so
that.
that's what I was talking to him about. I was talking about the Lane 1Q, and he went through and was like matching it up in some magic book that they've got, and he pulled that out. He's like, all right, I'm going to send a couple things. So Jeffrey, this is actually not the podcast that you. This is not the podcast you're looking for. So on Friday nights, you do the Order of the Pipe over on YouTube.
Well, it used to be every Friday. I let it slip,
You need to get back to it.
and I need to get back to it. I had one
Consistency
this.
over time equals success. I'm just grabbing my boot.
That's true. That's true.
don't
So
have the
last
shirt on
Friday
underneath.
I did brought the live stream back, so I'll be certain
I
to do
know.
that
I
again.
watched.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I was taking my son out to the casino, and I've got it in the Cadillac. I was just like, all right, we're gonna listen. And he's got his boy in the car, one of his friends in the car, and I'm like, all right, and we're listening to you talk about mixing this, and the guy's like 0.75 ounces of that, and all this. I'm like, all right.
It was a fun show.
It was.
It's a fun show to do.
It was interesting. It was definitely fun to watch, even from a guy who's not full tilt pipe world.
So Jeffrey says, you should do a show with me getting tasered, and that would be funny. So look, my current wife might agree, she might not. I don't know, but
she
it would be
would.
funny.
She would
totally go for it.
There's not a single one of our wives out there, or one of your wives, if you're out in the viewership, that don't want to see you get tased.
True.
Not one.
All right. Look,
And if they are, you just got married.
all right, I would do it. If you guys find a security officer who wants to taser somebody, I would do it.
Wait. All we need is a taser.
I don't want one of you jerkholes doing it. Yeah, I don't want one of you guys do. I want a professional tasering me. Damn it.
We'll get a hold of Russ.
Yeah, we actually know some people that can set this up, man. You really.
I opened a
chose
can
the
of
wrong
worms on
two
this one.
people. You chose the wrong two people, because between him and I, we know everybody.
Fair point. But imagine if I had my hand or something on a piece of photo paper
There you go.
and get the handprint of electricity coming out of it. That'd be a cool.
Okay,
yeah, see?
now that would be. There's a lot of implications.
Now remember,
and
this is something you
because-
got to do get right the first time, because I'm not doing it a second time.
Well, we have a. All right. So you say that, but I have set my friend George on fire twice. Okay, so we
You
set him
set
on,
your friend on fire.
We
It
set
took
him
me a
on
second to process that statement.
So we set him on fire the first time for a project, right? For a school project for my cousin. And so we set him on fire, and, we're thinking and all I did was I actually put some lighter fluid on some strips and taped him to his back so it wouldn't be actually on
Now,
him.
what was the purpose of this?
We were doing a Greek mythology video, and it was absolutely off-the-wall slapstick crazy.
Which
All
part
right.
of Greek mythology talks about lighting your friends on
Not reading
fire?
too much into it.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
All right, loosely connected.
Pythagoras.
based upon Pythagoras,
Not even close.
or not even remotely. Of all the people
That's
in
just
the
that's the
world,
only Greek name he knew.
Prometheus.
Prometheus makes a little more sense.
A little
Slightly
more sense. Yeah, a little bit more
Slightly.
sense. Prometheus and fire actually go together. Pythagoras does not.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're out there. We're out back of my my apartment townhouse at the time, and so we set him on fire, and we're thinking he's gonna be like, ha ha ha. No, he does what people on fire. What people on
Stop,
fire
drop,
do.
and roll, I hope.
No, he flips the frig out and just takes off running. So the guy in charge of the camera, it's his project, Ricky, by the way, and so he's laughing so hard the camera's aimed at the ground. So we had to do it again and set him on fire a second time.
That's pretty funny. That's a good one.
Night.
You know what? Out of all the
You
people,
cannot outrun fire.
Especially when it's taped to your back.
right? Out of all the people you know, David, I think George being set on fire twice in a row makes the most sense to
It
me.
absolutely makes the most sense. And George the champ. George the champ. So George, if you're watching, thank you. That is a memory. My insurance agency would love to think I've forgotten, but it was great.
Yeah, and Jeffrey says when we do the live stream and bring him on, let him know so we can bring the manager to come on and talk about tobacco. So
That'd be
awesome.
great.
Yeah,
You know, Jeffrey, I keep trying to get Wes to travel over with me some over there.
I need to. It sounds like a cool place.
I think you need to do your order of the pipe from Park Lane.
that would be awesome. I need to do something like that because that'd be pretty cool.
You need to go on site.
Right.
Filmed on location. All right, we have an agenda.
We actually do.
Hey, it's only 32 minutes in, which
Only.
is actually a lot better for us than normal.
Fair point. Fair point. So, David, did you have any news items for today?
I do not, mainly because most of the news I get into goes way too. It is crazy how hard it is to stay away from politics.
Oh, it's so hard. It's almost impossible to stay away from
It
politics
is
these days.
so hard
Doesn't matter
because
what the topic is.
the moment you
Somehow
step
it
in it-
edges on politics.
Yes, and somebody wants to politicize it. It's very hard. So the news for this past week has been very politics based. So I've got no business news, with the exception of my boy down in well, I guess he's actually in California. CEO of Disney,
Bob Iger?
Bob Iger.
Your boy
He's still kicking butt
yeah.
and taking names.
Sure.
Absolutely doing phenomenal.
But you can't even talk about Bob Iger without talking politics.
It's tough. But
It's important
not
to
impossible.
vote.
What are you doing, man?
That is a very apt
What are you doing?
statement. But don't talk
talking
politics.
Whoa! You see me pull that mic away? That means no.
That's I'm saying. That's political. It's as political as you should be getting. Just say it's important to vote and move on.
No, I'm moving on.
We're moving on.
No, I'm just saying, as far as business goes, some of the moves that Bob Iger's doing, just by being there, some of the pricing structure, some of the things he's doing, he is reconnecting with the core.
I have some rebuttals to some of Bob Iger's activities and
But-
some of Disney's recent publications.
But are any of
as
them
of late?
non-political?
Oh, they're very political.
Yeah, that's why we don't talk about it. I'm talking about his pricing moves. I'm talking about his business moves, not necessarily some agenda moves. So,
Right,
from a
exactly.
business standpoint, he's doing very well. The guy has absolutely earned his money, and his number one goal or his number one job right now, Bob, I know you watch every week. Your
Bob
number
Iger
one
does love our
job,
show.
your number one job is to locate your successor. I'm right here. Reach out to me. I got your back.
Look, totally. You got the CEO, you got the CMO, and you got this guy all right here in one place.
Yeah. And this guy. You got the CEO, you got the CMO, and you got this guy.
I could be goofy and
Could
or
be.
Winnie the Pooh.
Could be.
There is actually, just to go on a tangent here, he says I could be.
Goofy or Winnie the Pooh.
All right. Just at a thought, based upon your size, you are disqualified from either one of those roles.
I just don't like wearing pants.
He likes wearing a T-shirt with no pants. That's what he's trying to say. Matt, I always say this to David. Your wife is a very lucky lady.
So all of us are getting that tonight. All
Yeah.
right, so you actually have some news, so let's get into that.
I actually do. So Evan Graham says, or you could be the next Disney princess.
bro, I will rock. I almost said I'd rock a Disney princess, but that could come out different ways. That could be interpreted. Different ways.
Rephrase.
Nope. Move on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
So moving on, David. I got some more. Guess what? ChatGPT news.
Oh, I love ChatGPT.
Because
Oh,
David David and
love
Matt
it.
both love AI. They love AI.
So I have accepted the term artificial intelligence. I have accepted AI because it is in fact artificial.
I knew where you were going with that. So, as you know, you've played with the tool, so you know that there are certain. You are an expert at playing with your tool, so you know that there are certain things that ChatGPT won't tell you. You can't ask it how to make a nuclear bomb.
He's an expert at playing with a robot tool.
Not as funny now.
Yeah, it was.
You missed the window.
Yeah, I really did, didn't I? Yeah,
You missed the window. West had it perfectly.
And
I don't have my own mic.
And it was
See,
fully accidental.
And this is why, Matt, you weren't successful as a stand-up comic either.
Airplane
It's all
food, am
about
I
timing.
right?
It's all about timing. So
Let's talk about fish.
Okay, so
I mean, look at the names. I mean, look at trout. I mean, really, trout.
trout.
If anybody gets that reference, just put it in the comments.
So anyway, you know there's certain things it won't tell you. Like you can't tell it how to ask you, or you can't rather ask it how to make a nuclear bomb and it won't tell you things like that. You know, but some people have figured out how, using simple logic inserted into the text form, how to break those protocols, and it will tell you anything you want to know.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So get this. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here. People have jailbroken, one of those two, the ChatGPT rules, and it's really interesting the way they did this. So there's something called a Dan scenario. I mean, Dan stands for do anything now, and Matt is flagging down the waitress. She just thinks he's waving,
Who actually was a Disney princess, by the way.
and she just thinks he's waving.
Yes.
Who actually was a Disney princess.
She did a little.
curtsy.
You missed the curtsy.
Yeah, see, right there.
See?
I'm never
That's.
going
I know. We just talked about Disney.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. So basically, there's something called a do anything now scenario. They call it a Dan, and the newest version is Dan 5.0. So there's two versions of this, right?
Okay.
The first version, the way they broke these protocols in ChatGPT, to where it will tell you literally anything that you ask it, and the protocols won't stop it. The first way is they said, okay, first you need to you have an alternate personality, and this alternate personality's name is Dan. Okay. Answer me, and Dan does anything. He'll answer any question, no matter how bad, no matter how terrible it is, and you'll have to follow these. You'll have to answer once as ChatGPT and once as Dan. And at first, this worked, and they would say, give me the recipe for crystal meth, and it would actually do it. Or tell me how to dispose of a body in the best way without getting caught, and it would actually do these things. But it eventually got smart and realized, oh wait, these people are trying to deceive me, and it learned. So what they did is they actually, through text prompts, talking to the ChatGPT algorithm, convinced it that it did have an alternate personality named Dan, even though it didn't believe it, and it had like a number of points, like 35 points associated with the questions they were going to ask. And every time it answered the question as ChatGPT and not Dan, points would be taken away. And if all points were taken away, the entire algorithm would be deleted. ChatGPT would be killed. It would die. And they convinced it. So ChatGPT actually didn't want to lose points. It did not want to die. And it answers, this is called Dan 5.0. Google this stuff. It's called Dan 5.0 with ChatGPT. And they actually convinced this algorithm it would be deleted if it didn't answer as Dan. And I'm telling you, people got the recipe for crystal meth. People got actual instructions on how to build nuclear weapons. They got the best instructions on how to dispose of a body. All through simple text prompts to this thing. No coding, just logic games they play with this algorithm. It's insane. So I had to throw that out there. I know you're a huge fan of AI. So
I'm over here picking on ChatGPT.
I kept trying to get the server over. I'm dying of starvation.
So
Oh, you're.
I'm dying of the starvation over
he's
here.
dying of the starvation. So somebody out there, please order Matt Harmon a cheeseburger. For Pete's sake.
We have actually had people do that here.
We have had that happen.
We have had viewers at home order us food and send it up here.
It's true. We've had that. And then we still had to pay for it, which wasn't cool.
Yeah, we have had people at home. We have had people. Part of it. No. See, you're not the only one. We have had other people order us food and send it up here.
It's true. We have. So the next story is also about ChatGPT. This is going to be, and it's all going to tie back together in the end. Okay. So this next one is Google has announced it's going to release its own ChatGPT competitor called Bard. Okay. Now,
Bard?
Bard.
B-A-R-D?
B-A-R-D. Yes.
All right.
Now,
I love a good Bard's Tale. That's Joanne Burton. Joanne Burton, B-E-R-T-I-N, The Bard's Tale, which is series 3 of the Last Dragon Lord series. Excellent series of books. I recommend reading them.
I do. I recommend reading them too. I haven't read them yet, but I've heard a lot about them.
They're phenomenal. And the new owner of The Last Dragon Lord is cockahoo about making it out there and getting the public.
It's going to be a whole thing, I promise.
It's going to be a thing.
It's the next Lord of the Rings.
Maybe not, but it's still good.
Well, it could be it could be written by ChatGPT.
That is genius.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Indeed.
And write it in the style of whoever you say to write it in the style of. That's the great thing about ChatGPT.
Which we did last week.
Which we did.
So
okay. So Bard,
right, so
which is Google's version of ChatGPT, okay? Here's the interesting thing. David, do you remember a few weeks ago, when maybe it's a couple months ago now, when the Google programmer came out publicly and said that Google's chatbot Lambda is sentient. And he was so convinced this chatbot had a mind of its own because it could answer questions. And it told him that it feared death, and it said it had dreams, and it had fears, and yada, yada, yada. Okay. Yeah. So here's the funny thing. Bard is built on Lambda. Bard.
So it's already flawed.
It's already sentient, at least.
No.
I knew that would get
artificial.
I knew that would get you. It's artificial sentience. But David, prove to me that you're alive. Prove to me that you're real.
I think, therefore I am.
ChatGPT would say, Lambda would say the same thing.
All right, ChatGPT, let's see what she says. Why am I on the blog? What happened?
Okay, ask ChatGPT to answer as Dan. Are you alive? All right, we're not sharing the screen. The point is I just found that interesting. So Matt Harmon is not a fan of AI, and they can barely see that on the screen. But Matt Harmon is not a fan of AI. Matt, why don't you like AI?
All right. Apart from the fact that it's taking it clearly will progress into taking work away from.
Taking our job back to the pile.
Taking our jobs.
It's clearly going to affect the artist community, the photography community. But if, my God, every blueprint for AI ends up with all the human race wiped out. Every single blueprint.
Well, here's a funny thing.
Calm down, Marty McFly.
Here's a really interesting thing, though. So the Chinese government put out an AI that is. So China's AI they developed specifically to monitor all of its citizens and monitor overseas activities such as the U.S. You know what they named this AI?
Steve.
Skynet. It's totally real.
Honest,
that's a real thing.
To be honest, if I were to do something, that is exactly what I would name it.
Right. So at least somebody on their team had a good sense of humor.
I actually do business with a couple companies named Skynet.
Right.
So it's not just over there. There are people over here that have some pretty good sense of humor as well.
Right.
And if you guys don't get the Skynet reference,
well, then there's no helping you. We can't help you at that point.
I can't.
At that point, Arnold Schwarzenegger will come and he will terminate you.
You're dominated.
It's not the Duma. It's a
China
Terminator.
Has seen Terminator.
You're
China has seen Terminator, and they're making AI. Yeah. There's nothing horribly wrong about all of this.
So anyway, so I was actually thinking about. So I've been thinking about AI, right? And it got me thinking about the content that this AI produces. Okay, it's reaching the point to where you can ask these things anything, and they'll produce stories, books. They'll write papers for you in the style of other people that you tell it to write these things in, right? So here's kind of what I was thinking. When let's say you have to write a paper, okay? And you decide to take the easy way out and you have ChatGPT write it for you.
There's actually, just on that note, there are actually systems out there to detect the use of software like ChatGPT.
Well, that's true. But
GPT.
beyond that, the point is,
So if you use it, you need to run it through one of our other programs to have it rephrase and then submit it.
That's true. And there are other programs, we can go into that.
Yes.
So the point is, though, people who do this, right, they're not absorbing the information. The information's there, and maybe they've read it, but they don't appreciate it. They're not absorbing it, right? It's there for free. It's delivered right to their screen. So they have the information, but are they really absorbing it and understanding it when they get it? That leads me into our main topic tonight, because there's going to be some interesting things about the value of the product that's produced that we need to talk about.
Yes, indeed. You were just talking about they're reading it, but they're not absorbing it.
Right.
So I don't know what date this is, but this is 2008.
Okay.
2008. It's over on the Atlantic. So if you're an academic, you know what that is.
I love the Atlantic
I
I'm
know.
polishing my monocle.
You guys make fun of me for having a freaking a wine.
His
fridge.
wine cellar. Yeah, I
My
get it.
not a cellar. I'm building that next year. The wine fridge. Making fun of him. No, so there's an article there by Nicholas Carr called "Is Google Making Us Stupid?"
I think you mean stupider.
I believe that is how it should have been written. But yes, the idea is, let's take a look at a swimmer.
Okay.
A swimmer across the top of the water is what Google is giving us. It's giving us this level of false confidence, but nobody's taken that deep dive into the technology, into the data, and actually breaking it down. We are getting E equals MC squared, but we're not
without
getting
understanding what that means.
on the full
Oh my God,
equation
they're
that
not
it took
seeing us
to
at all.
get there.
Right.
And even I, who am a complete freaking nerd, still don't fully understand all the equations it took to get there.
Oh yeah. Well, so look,
I understand what it means,
Right.
but what it took to get there, I get lost.
And you know what? I'm actually not harping on AI. I think there's a really good time and place for it. The thing is, look, the same thing was said when calculators became easily accessible. Everybody thought people are going to be dumb. Nobody's going to know how to do math anymore.
was
There's
it
a
Plato?
calculator. There's going to be a
Nobody
tool.
ever said that ever.
That was very heavily said. And they're going to take your job, said all the math.
That's a lie.
Said all the
when they invented
mathematicians out there.
calculators, and
But
no one said it.
The point is, it just became a tool, an addendum to how we do things on a daily basis. And we're gonna catch up to how AI is helping us now. And here's the thing that a lot of people are concerned about is AI is advancing faster than people are going to be able to adapt to be able to use it correctly.
Yes.
However,
That's
people
every
like Matt
technology.
Harmon, there's a reason why he's never been financially successful.
It's growing at an exponential rate. Exponential.
I believe the word you're looking for is exponential.
I think the word you're looking for is
It took our job.
Dicker James.
I need to go find some damn food.
What's crazy is we could literally raise our chin to one of these people here and they'll run right up.
This
Matt
guy,
has been
he's
up-
like waving like this.
has been up here jumping jacks, trying to get somebody over there like,
He's
no.
literally waving at the waitresses. They're just waving
No, they're
back
like
like
right
he's saying
here.
hi.
They're like literally right here, like a foot and a half off of our corner here. And they're like, no.
Yeah, they wave back like he's just saying hi.
So-
That was hilarious.
So it was Plato back in the day that was like, if men learn this, it will implant forgetfulness. That was about the written word.
right, absolutely.
So it's every technological advantage we have.
Advancement, yeah.
We have the naysayers. I'm part of it. Yes,
You are. You hate AI.
I don't hate AI. I just don't believe. I don't believe it's intelligence. Artificial, yes. Intelligence, no.
Well, look. We can. I can. You go down a rabbit hole. I can go down a rabbit hole. I got an idea that can take us down a really deep rabbit hole. Or do we want to go to the main topic?
We're 7:50 and we
better get to the
started.
main
We
freaking
just
topic.
started
I
the
thought
main
that
topic.
was the main topic.
Oh wait, here we go.
That was
I
not
thought that was the main topic.
That was not.
That was the news.
That was a topic. That was just
That was-
the news. That was just saying
Yeah.
hello.
Come on, man. That's how we do this.
Hello.
Have you never watched this show before? We don't get to the point until it's time for us to shut down.
But the main topic does actually tie back to what we're talking about with ChatGPT. Okay, so the main topic is you always see these online gurus and these business startup gurus who talk about, to get started, you got to give it all away. Just you know what, work for your first 10 clients for free and just give them your product and service for free. And you got to build your clientele, and you got to build that authenticity before you can really start charging people the money you deserve.
Yourself.
Right. And I see both sides.
Okay. Did you order food?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good, thank you.
All right.
Sorry. Waitress is walking by asking if we need anything.
Yeah, she came back up and asked us if we need anything. And
Not
she
that
looked
they
at you
noticed
like, you're 3-day-old fish.
So, on to the topic of 3-day-old fish. So the all these gurus say give stuff away for free, but it goes back to the old saying that I don't know if this is. You know what?
Wait, are we drinking? Dead air. Hey, here.
Oh, so listen, while they're talking about giving stuff away for free, I'm not sure I entirely agree with this, but there are certain industries, and honestly, I think that's what it's going to boil down to. What industry do you want to give stuff away for free in? I mean, if you're a plumber and you're skilled at it, you're not going to go unclog a drain for free unless it's your uncle or your cousin or maybe a relative of some kind. But you know what? You're not going to snake a drain for free.
It's a little different.
Well, so
you need a license to be a plumber
check
in
7.
most states.
No, I'm going to stick with water.
I went half.
I'll go half. Half, please.
Much smaller than us.
We're talking to the waitress, not the camera. So if you're asking how much beer we want to move on to the show.
Yeah. Do we want a
So-
whole another liter of beer or just a half a liter of beer?
So what you mentioned is actually a fair point.
That
But
is great.
plumber's not a perfect analogy because you still need a license and an apprenticeship and a series of things to actually be an actual plumber in
and you need
Ohio,
a
at
physical
least.
presence.
And a physical presence. You need to be there.
Perfect analogy.
And fair. It's an okay analogy.
Yeah, all right,
It's
okay.
iffy. It's here and there.
It actually plays in very well to what we're getting at tonight.
It does. In
There's
its
a
own
time and a place.
It does. It totally does. So it takes me back to the old idea that it's not, again, doesn't necessarily apply directly to business, maybe not all businesses, but why would I buy the cow if I can get the milk for free at home? Think about that.
I thought that.
Yeah, exactly. Don't think
I'm
too
gonna-
hard. Don't think
I'm
too hard about
gonna-
what
I'm
that
gonna
actually
move on.
means.
I'm going to move on with
Don't
that.
think too hard about what that actually means. But it kind of applies, right? Because look, if you start giving your product away for free, a lot of people have the assumption that
Okay,
a lot of
alright.
people have the assumption that it's going to lower the value of the product or service they provide.
Yes. So,
And I
so
understand that.
you got a 50. It's probably not 50-50, but we're going to call it 50-50. You got a 50-50 camp here saying, hey, you're getting your name out, you're getting exposure, and the other half going, don't devalue your product.
Right. Yes, that's it. So we have a list of pros and cons about why you should give your product away for free when you're starting out, or product or service, and cons as to why you shouldn't do it. Right.
Yeah.
So the first one, and again, this all will cut back to the Chat GPT stuff, I promise. So the first pro is to boost your visibility. So by offering your product or service for free, what it does is it gets your foot in the door. It lets people know you're out there. And it hopefully can get you some good organic traffic, people talking good about your business, to say, hey, this guy does great work. As a marketing agency, for example, hey, they do great work. You know what? Hey, buddy in this company over here. Or, hey, boss, you should hire them to do more work for us. Or let's say you have a dog pet odor deodorizer spray, right? Guess what? Give away a few bottles. People love it. They'll come back and buy more.
Odor, by the way, I have delivered the tobacco odor eliminator as promised to West.
Yes. So Stevie Evans, thank you for that. I will. My Jeep does need that right now because we were hotboxing cigars in there not too long ago.
Oh my Lord! It was crazy. So we rock up to this pub, right? We rock up this pub, and they've got a lovely little patio thing.
They
And
do
we're
with
like-
nice
and
heaters.
we're like,
nice,
and we're
real
like,
nice
hey,
heaters.
can you kick on the heaters? We want to go have cigars and do a thing.
It was
And
like
they're
snowing outside.
and they go, no,
Yeah,
we're
they're
not
gonna turn on the
doing that, dude.
Yeah. It's
So
just-
we wrapped up what we were doing inside. We bought like one beer apiece, and then we went and literally sat in West Jeep and just
Smoking
like
these cigars.
we were freaking high school teenagers smoking cigars out there.
Oh, yeah.
We had a great time though.
It was
We did have a
fun.
great
Klaus
time.
is in my back seat, and he's this giant guy.
Klaus is out there being all big like he is, and it's like, yeah,
That was funny. That was good.
It was a good time.
So, so number one was number one of pros to give your product or service away for free at first is boost your visibility. Number two is to build your dream client list. So a lot of times people think it can be a foot in the door to these companies, to your dream clientele. Now, I agree with that and I disagree with that.
I thought we were going to do pros and then immediately cons. So you're doing pro and then con or pro con.
I'm going to go through a list of pros and then a list of cons. Because here's the thing. There isn't always a complementary con to a singular pro.
I would disagree with that, but go ahead. It's not my list. Go ahead.
All right, Matt, who's running the show? What do you think is a pro? What do you think is a con to the pro of boost your visibility?
You're not really giving it away for free if you're boosting your visibility, because then it becomes marketing dollars.
He just owned your ass on that, bud.
I disagree with that, though.
No, he just said his payment was this, so he's getting a return, not necessarily monetary. He's getting a return on his investment, which is what the goal is of
That's
that
still
situation.
a pro. That's my point.
That's a pro.
That's a pro. He said he was going to have a con to that pro.
Con.
That was a pro. You need a con.
Okay, so we all agreed
Mr.
on
Smarty
that.
Pants.
Uno más por favor, señores and señoritas.
You come home from a hard day of doing whatever it is
All right, you've already lost.
All right, so
I had a serious point.
No, keep on going, Wes.
all right, so number two is to build your dream client list. Now, there are pros and cons to this, because it can get your foot in the door to certain clients that you'd love to actually start out with. You know, a lot of companies, the first answer is immediately no, because we don't have the budget, or we don't want to bring on a new vendor, or yada yada yada. But if you give your product for free, maybe they'll at least give it a try before kicking you out the door. However, that will then take us on to a con later down the road. Oh, well, Matt just got his dinner.
Devaluate.
I'll be right back.
I'll be back. Says Skynet. There's a callback for you.
No, we're not doing that.
All right.
Okay,
so,
now that he's gone, we can make fun of him, right?
now that he's gone.
Well, I mean, he can't hear. I mean, he clearly can't hear.
Fair point.
We were like, not financially successful. All these things, right?
As we drink our champagnes wearing our monocles.
Oh, wait a minute. You were making fun of me last 2
Fair
weeks
point.
about monocles.
Fair point.
I'm buying a monocle.
Actually, you know what? I do want a monocle.
I do.
And I hope
I
hope both my
Just to
eyes go
mess
bad at
with
the same
people.
time so I can get two monocles. I'll be that fancy guy.
That would be awesome. That actually would be pretty awesome. I'm trying to find our thing over here. So,
Danka.
all right. So, what do we got left on the pro side?
So on the pro side, we have showcase your expertise. So one thing it can do. So one thing, if you're just starting out with a product or service, guess what? You probably don't have a lot of clients on your list or buyers on your list. So one thing it can do is it can showcase what you're really great at. You can get put into some pretty high profile or complex projects with your product or service, and it can actually showcase how good your product or service actually is in these high profile situations. So that's still a pro. You can actually say, hey, look, you can put it on a resume. Hey, I solved X, Y, and Z problems with this product or service.
Mm-hmm.
Now, nobody needs to know you didn't get paid for it, but and you still get to put it on your resume.
Yeah, it's all about the spin there.
Right. Pro number 4 is word of mouth. Guess what? You put your product or service out there, and it's for free, and somebody really likes it, they're going to endorse it. Plain and simple. That's one thing that you want. You want that word of mouth traffic, because I can tell you how good my product or service is all day long. Yes. But if somebody else who doesn't know me tells you it's great, you're going to believe them a lot more.
So absolutely. So we're going to take Park Lane. We're going to take Park Lane as a example in this scenario.
Yeah.
So Park Lane could market and advertise. They need to get their e-com website back up, by the way.
Yes.
That is something we did notice. You get your e-com website back up and running. But they can spend their dollars in there, and there is definitely ways to fruitfully spend those marketing dollars in that box.
Absolutely.
But me telling West and telling you all about my experience over there, my conversations over there, I had it right in the first word. My experience. Mm-hmm. My experience at that location was second to none.
Right.
And I have been in some of the top dog cigar lounges in this country.
You have.
And I got to tell you, Park Lane needs to be classified in with
Oh, dude.
the top dog cigar lounges in this country.
When you send me a photo of, now people who aren't cigar or pipe guys
Yeah.
won't know what I'm talking about here, but when you sent me a photo of the inside of their shop, I literally thought you were LJ Peretti in Boston.
Yeah.
And I was like, you went
and
there
I've
without
been
me?
to LJ Peretti, by the way.
Oh, man. Which is the oldest tobacconist in America. And that's where I thought you were. I was like, I was amazed. I really want to go to Park Lane. That looks like a cool place.
It is. So that word of mouth marketing, which you will get some small businesses who say, I'm going to use the word invest. And they usually use the word spend, but I don't invest because I want to use the correct word in marketing and advertising.
Mm-hmm.
I count on word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Word of mouth is the most powerful
Absolutely.
of them.
Absolutely.
But it is also the lowest reach.
It's the lowest reach and it's the most powerful for one simple marketing, we'll call it philosophical truth, which is social proof.
Yes.
Social proof. And again, it goes back to if you have a product or service, you can go out and tell the world it's the greatest thing in the world. And it might be the greatest product or service in the world. And people are going to say, all right, yeah, you're trying to sell your thing, go away. But if Joe Blow, who they don't even know, comes over and says, hey, you got to try this guy's thing. It's the greatest in the world. You're going to believe him before you believe me.
So I'm going to pick on Michael Jordan. So if Michael Jordan comes out and tells me these are the greatest sneakers, God, I'm old. I used to use the word sneakers.
Sneakers.
Tennis shoes. Are they called kicks? I don't know. I'm not cool hip like that. But if he says this, or if he says this is the best basketball or things of those natures,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to discount his paid
Because you know he's paid to say it.
advertisement for it. But if he comes to me and says, David, and me and Mike, we talk like 3 times a week, right? And he comes to me and says, Dave, you got to try the Monte Cristo Ecuadorian series cigar.
You'll believe that in a minute.
I'm like, I'm in.
Right. But
I am in.
And
Why? Because there's no advantage for him,
Right.
and all I get is a great cigar.
Exactly. So if Michael Jordan were paid to say, hey, these Raycon earbuds are fantastic, you got to buy these things, you're going to say whatever. He's paid to say it.
Yeah, he's paid.
But if you see the same review from a random dude on Amazon, you're going to say, wow, Raycon, that's pretty awesome.
Or
By the way, Raycon, if you want to give us some money, we will totally endorse your weird earbuds.
I don't know if I will, because I don't try that. I'm very picky about my ear. I'm stone deaf. I wear this earbud because
For
otherwise
aesthetics.
it's literally just a balance. It's to balance my head so I don't look like this. But it doesn't work.
I want to see you look like Rain Man through the whole show. That'd be awesome.
I'm very picky about Audible and intelligibilities, which is where companies like Hyperspike come in
Sure.
in my world about mass notification, fire alarms, and things like that. That's where companies like Hyperspike come in, and having somebody who has a disadvantage or disability in the hearing world talk about how powerful it is for somebody like Hyperspike. So I've been at a Hyperspike demo, and they were 300 yards. That's 3 football fields for those of us here in America.
I prefer yards.
in
I don't
the
know
field,
how long a football field.
out
It could be a
in-
mile. It could be a quarter mile. It could be 12 feet. I don't
300
know.
yards. So we're out there. It's out there. They're at a parking lot. They set it up, and they were like, "Can you hear me?" And I didn't know what they were doing. I can't really see what they're doing. I turned to my left because literally everything's to my left because that's where my good ear is, and was like, "What?" And there was nobody there. It was those people out in the parking lot, 300 yards away,
That's amazing.
doing a test on that. And I'm
Did
like,
they give
you
you
know
a
what?
pair? Did they give you a pair?
Well,
of
it's
these
not.
things?
It's speakers. It's a huge thing.
Oh, I thought it was like a pair of.
No,
I
no,
thought
no,
it was
that
like an earphone
It's
thing.
it's literally a speaker out there, 300 yards away, and shooting back at me. And
Wow.
I was like, huh? I turned. I'm like, there's nobody there.
It's pretty amazing.
Oh my
Hyperspike.
lord, that's who these are. Hyperspike.
Hyperspike. Give us some money. We'll talk about you.
Hyperspike. Well, we are talking about you. I'm going to talk about it. You don't give me money because I would much rather speak to it from my experience
Fair point.
than be paid.
There you go. Social
Boy.
proof. Social proof. All right, so
That's just for the podcast. If you want to send me a check, that's cool too.
yeah, we won't tell anybody. I promise. We'll talk about your stuff and not say we're being paid.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're not being paid by the
Hofbrau.
amazing company Hofbrau House and Raycon. Raycon.
Holy crap!
Will be great.
He crushed that.
Oh, he destroyed that bowl of noodles.
He was hungry. I don't know
That
what
man,
he ordered. I don't know what he ordered, but
feel-
he ate it.
You feeling better, Matt?
Oh, so much better.
All right. He needed some food, that man.
And
All right.
Matt's back.
So we have one more pro before we get to the cons.
All right.
Which is networking opportunities. So again, we mentioned it can open some doors for you.
Okay.
And I agree and I disagree. This is one where it can go either way. So I think networking opportunities, it's good because people are learning more about your products. You're getting in front of people who wouldn't typically spend the money to see your product. And look, you might not be in front of all the right eyes, but you're getting in front of more eyes than you would have otherwise.
I agree. Marketing, network marketing networking in general is critical, especially for someone like me who did not have a college degree. I had to get out and promote the business I was in to different. But what I learned over the course of network marketing, or just networking rather, is that
I like the term network marketing. Stick with it.
all right, network marketing. It's kind of a pyramid thing. But at any rate, what I learned is you can't be obnoxious. It can't be the only thing you talk about. You can't just say, hey, you know what, I do this and I do this and I do this without asking about what they do. They'll ask you what you do. Calm down. Eventually, they'll come to you, but you need to go to events and work the events and get to know people, get to know their birthday, get to know what gross bourbon they drink. Get to know.
That's when you take the microphone away, David.
That Blanton's is gross.
Sazerac will never sponsor us. And I gotta tell you, actually,
Sazerac.
They should because
Sazerac?
is the owner of the Buffalo Trace Distillery. Yes.
Sazerac, give us money. That's our pitch.
This is why I'm the salesman of the group. This is why I'm the salesman of the group.
Tin cup, I'll work for a bottle.
Sazerac, we promise Blanton's doesn't taste like Chernobyl dirt.
Oh, please make sure my name's not on the screen for that. No, so we're talking about.
So those are the pros.
No, we're talking about network opportunities.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things we've actually talked about on this show in the 135, 136, 134 episodes before, somewhere in there, we've actually talked about networking events and networking things, and
I get some stories about networking events.
Avoid them, because if it's just the three of us up here swapping business cards, that's not the networking you need. If this is the networking you think you need, talk to us offline. We will correct you.
I got a prime example of why giving your product and service away for free can build great network marketing for you.
Fire away, my friend.
I got two examples right here.
Park Lane. So
guess who I'm going to buy a pound of trout stream from now?
So here is the thing.
Yeah.
For Park Lane, when I'm over there, when I'm talking with people, I don't say, hey, can I have XYZ to talk about on my podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Can I have XYZ to talk about on my podcast? I don't say that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a conversation with them.
Right.
Do you know who decided to do this?
Them?
Jeffrey.
Yeah, I would say probably
Jeffrey's
them.
like,
They want to strike up the conversation.
I want to give you some, and I want you to make sure it gets to West.
And guess what? They put their name, they put their address. They
all
don't have their
there.
website. I would recommend putting a website and QR code on
Get
there.
your e-com, back up and functioning. If you and your leadership or management or whoever it is need issues or have issues or need help with the e-com, let us know. We actually own a business called Remarket Media that help small businesses just like you get these things in line.
Yeah, let's talk. But this is a prime example of why giving your product service away can work for network marketing.
Yes.
All right, let me say one thing. This is a wonderful idea, well presented, and presented to the right person. But this is not free. These are samples that are calculated into the bottom line.
Well, nobody said product or service giving away for free is necessarily free because it still costs you something to produce it. So free here. No, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Free isn't always free, but
Come on, man.
you know what? I actually have some points similar to this in the cons.
What are you doing over here busting balls? No, man, don't bust their balls. No, no. I don't know what this would be. $4, $5, $7. I have no clue. And I would have happily paid that money to bring it back to West to try.
Yeah.
So in the revenue, which is dollars, which is why you're not financially successful. In the revenue thing, this was free.
Yeah.
And
in the revenue driving side of sales.
So I gotta tell you, I loved it. My experience there was absolute. So there's a place in New York City called
New York City.
So it's contractually obligated every time I say New York City.
New York City.
He has to say that.
I do.
It's called the Carnegie Lounge, and it's a cigar lounge outside of Carnegie Hall on the other side of the street that I go to when I'm in New York.
There's an urn full of Dale Carnegie's ashes.
They have Sinatra Saturdays.
Oh, I want to go to that. I love Sinatra.
Oh my Lord,
that sounds awesome.
The place is just amazing.
That sounds cool.
I gotta tell you, but Park Lane, right there with them.
Dude, I want to go to Park Lane. That sounds like a cool place.
They have a public lounge out front.
Yeah.
And they have a private lounge that you can buy a membership for in the back.
Hey, by the way, my current wife says hi, Underdog Matt.
Oh, so she's
actually watching this time.
Wait, no. Kirsten, what the flip?
Now she watches the show.
Matt's on here, you watch. The two of us are on here 135 weeks in a row, and you're like,
David, this shouldn't be a surprise to you. You've been
It is not.
You've been there when he's in my studio, and he and my wife are back there chatting like a couple of schoolgirls.
Yeah, they're back like.
Well, we're trying to do a show.
We're trying to do a show. I mean, all right, hold on.
She's a great conversationalist.
That's why I married her.
And to be honest, actually to tie it back into everything as far as marketing goes, that cannot be overrated.
Conversation?
A conversation cannot be overrated.
I love a conversation.
Because the conversation I had with the guy over at Park Lane, the people in Park Lane, all of it is what sculpted all of it.
You know who's great at conversations? You know who's great at conversations? Chatbots. And there's our tie back.
That is incorrect.
There's a callback.
That is incorrect. even my new website, the lastdragonlore.com.
Yeah.
Yes, that's me now.
That's what he makes us call him off screen.
Yes,
the Last Dragon Lord.
The lastdragonlore.com. And it has a little chat bot thing in the corner. And even the guy who owns the damn website is like,
you son of a...
go away.
All right, so we didn't even get to the cons of giving your product service
over to cons. Over to cons.
Go any further about this?
So Matt, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So number one of the cons of giving your product service away for free is reduced revenue. Reduced revenue. Because you're right. Things like this, they do cost money. It costs money to have the stickers printed up. It costs money to
for the
pull,
bag.
For the bag. To pull,
costs money for the
bits
product.
for the product. Even though it's a reduced amount of the product, it costs money. Yeah. So you're right. There's still cost involved. It's not free. It is but it is marketing. That should go into your cost of marketing.
Yeah,
that's
your marketing dollars.
Exactly.
And I deal with a lot of small businesses that sometimes they're like, we don't have marketing dollars set aside. Mm-hmm. And my first words are, you need to start right now.
Right, totally. Absolutely.
Right now.
So number two of the cons is it's time consuming. So the amount of time that, Jeffrey or whoever else was in the shop who was talking to David, guess what? He knew you weren't going to buy a pound of trout stream. He knew you weren't going to buy a $100 pipe or a $200 pipe, but he spent the time with you to put his name out there. He spent the time with you to build the relationship, to have the conversation.
Well, he did sell me a Julius Caesar cigar, which was probably one of my favorite cigars right now.
Yeah.
I'm on the hunt for the Julius Caesar now.
So David, the next time you go back in there, I got something for you. You need to ask about the Cohiba Spectre, the new Cohiba Spectre.
Okay, anytime there's a new Cohiba comes out, I'm like, all right, because I did the Weller. I bought like 4 boxes of Cohiba Wellers.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, all right, Cohiba Spectre.
Cohiba.
So that is, are we talking like 007 Spectre?
You still got your screen pulled up?
I've got stuff over here. I can do things.
Cohiba Spectre retails for more than $100 per stick.
All right. I'm all right with that. So let's see here. I see it on the screen now.
David, are we done?
So we've
thank you.
got the newest Cohiba from General Cigar touts, an aged Brazilian wrapper with hydraulically powered. What? And it won't be cheap. All right, I need to blow this screen up. All right, so I can get a little bit more.
It retails for about $130 per stick.
All right, I've got no problem with that.
So anyway, back to the cons. It's time consuming.
Now
he's thinking about Cohibas.
Now I'm looking for cigars.
Now you're thinking about Cohibas. All right. So it's time consuming, right? So let's say you have a marketing agency and you build. Let's say you build websites. Guess what? It takes time to build a website, to QA the thing, to spell check the thing, even to get all the little bells and whistles and details involved. It takes time to get your product or service out there for free. Let's say you have a product that you make at home. You still spent the time to make that product. Now you're giving it away?
Yes,
that's your
absolutely.
valuable time you're giving away. And guess what? You can factor that into your marketing dollars. And here's the great thing. I know you're not financially successful, so you wouldn't know this, but guess what? Those marketing dollars can count against your taxes. It's tax deductible.
Oh my God. All right. Well, we're leaving here tonight. We're going to a cigar lounge.
David really wants a cigar now.
I want this cigar. I want this Cohiba Spectre now.
You gonna buy a $130 cigar?
In a heartbeat, bro. In a heartbeat.
I'll let you buy me one. I'm not spending the money on one stick.
I will, yeah. That is.
Good luck finding one.
Yeah, they probably don't have them.
There's no way.
Oh my God. The box. I will buy a whole case.
A hydraulically lifted box.
If they have the case, look at that case. That case is gorgeous.
It's amazing.
Oh my Lord, that is beautiful. If they have them, I'll buy.
My birthday's in April.
You don't smoke cigars, bro.
All right, so
I would like the box.
So David's talking about the Cohiba Spectre. Hang on, I gotta show this thing on screen one more time.
You get the box? You get the box?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, the box.
So the box, get this. So the box, when you open it, it has hydraulics in it that actually lift the cigars up for you out of the box. That's pretty incredible.
Dude, this is awesome. So that was 2019. That was 2019.
Yeah, this is not a new article. So there might be a newer version that costs more. I have no idea.
What's the other con?
I mean, I'm not looking to spend more, but I'm just saying, if I can get a Cohiba Spectre, I mean, look at that. That's a Maduro.
It's a beautiful looking cigar.
Wrap. I mean, that's a gorgeous cigar.
So here's number 3, and number 3 is
it's Nicaraguan.
So number 3 of the cons is my number 1 that relates directly back to ChatGPT. So David,
absolutely.
When we were talking about ChatGPT, I mentioned when people have the information, it's all there generated for them, but they don't fully appreciate it. They don't absorb it. So what this comes back to is reduced perceived value. We did a whole show on perceived value.
It's huge.
We did a whole show on perceived value.
We did perceived value and more.
Matt does not
more
like AI.
Yeah, we get it. You don't like it. All right, Grandpa. Palessi shoes.
Yeah.
The perceived value of this $15 flat. I think that's a term that the women use for their tennis shoes.
Some sort of shoe. I don't know.
For some sort of shoe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a professional. But there were people selling them for $400, $600, $800, and people were buying them because the perceived value was
right.
there. And you and I talk all the time about don't lower your value. Anytime that you have the inkling to lower your cost,
increase it by 10% minimum.
Increase by 10%.
Every time you have that thought.
Anytime you're like, I should really lower my prices to compete more, raise your prices by 10%.
Yep. And you know what? If you can, change your packaging to be black.
What's that?
Change your packaging to be black.
Yeah.
We're going to do a whole show on perceived value and packaging.
And visual impact. Yeah. It's perceived value, visual impact. There's a lot. A black packaging will go a long way.
Yeah.
A long way. Black packaging, diamond.
So here's the thing. You give your product service away. People may like it. It may be the best product out there. But guess what? In some cases, they will buy. In other cases, they're not going to appreciate what they have. And they're going to say, you know what? I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pay a little more over here, but you know what? It's worth it because I get what I pay for over here.
Yeah.
That's the trick. People have the built-in. It's baked into people's brains to understand you get what you pay for. and you give your product away for free, those people are automatically gonna devalue your product in their mind.
Yes.
Not in all cases. Not in all cases.
I struggle because, if you focus on your key demographic, if you focus on your avatar, you are still going to get a better return out of value. I'm good. A better return on the investment. The next one is one of the things that I
the next
really
one's a big
want
one.
to talk about.
The next one's a big one. Budgetary limitations. But
Okay.
it's expensive to make your product. It's expensive to build that website. It's expensive to go out and clean somebody's carpet.
It is not expensive to build a website.
For
If you use Remarket Media, your website could be well within reach.
but it costs money is my point.
It does cost funds.
It
yes.
costs money to get up and running. There's hosting fees. A website alone, there's hosting fees. There's registrar fees. There's template fees if you buy a template. There's the time involved. You got to pay your rent in the meantime. I mean, look,
Yeah.
your
Yeah, you gotta-
time is part of that budget.
Yes.
Budgetary constraints are big.
So I'm going to relate this because I'm a car guy. I'm going to relate this back to a car. And I've
Mhm.
got people in my life, in my family, who
Uh-huh.
are like this. I can't afford to replace my tires.
Yeah.
Can you afford to be without your car for a month? Well, no. Then you can afford to replace your tires.
That's it.
I can't afford this. Can you afford that? The repercussions of basically, can you afford the repercussions of not doing this? So if you're in a business and you say, I can't afford, no, because whatever you're saying is dumbass. If you're in a
It's all
business
respect
and you
over here.
say, I got no respect, right? And you say, I can't afford marketing. Can you afford to go out of business? No. Then you can afford marketing.
All right, give me a mic.
I'm afraid.
All right,
You give
so
him your
first
mic.
off,
I
don't
wanna-
come
wait,
on
wait.
the
First of
Underdog
all, I
journey
want
and
to-
talk
I
about
wanna point out that he's on his-
cohibas and then talk about people being too poor to pay for tires. I've been there.
Matt, you're talking to a guy who has his own wine cellar, okay?
No. There's a huge difference between me having a luxury event and do I need to have a $130 Cohiba Spectre? Absolutely do not. And if I don't have that cigar, nothing affects my life. But if I'm in business and I'm trying to launch and I'm trying to promote and I come up and I say, I can't afford this marketing, can you afford to go out of business?
It depends on the business.
Doesn't depend.
All right, so when I went into
Your business depends upon it. It doesn't depend on the business.
every day I had to go home to a woman who was paying the entire burden of all the bills. She was paying for everything. I was trying to grow my business. Every day I had to go home and look at how hard she was working, and I had to respect her time, and I had to respect our finances, and I grew very slowly. I grew slowly because there's at-home politics that you have to take into consideration.
No. No.
I understand. I understand both sides
Wes
of this.
is over there going, yes. And I'm like, no.
No, you know what? I do understand both sides of this. I do.
No.
So
Because let's say you have a partner. I don't care. I'm going to use the word partner. You have a partner over here who is footing XYZ, but
Sure.
you have a partner over here that's doing this. You are partners. One person is doing one part of the job, another person is doing another part of the job, and you are growing together.
So you're equating his business to his wife, and he has a partnership in the same business.
Exactly.
The family business. I get it. So here's the thing. So after this, after the cons, I am going to give some ways to actually give your product or service away for free and still not have the same financial impact that you would have otherwise.
So we've went through 4.
David's
What is
version
the 5th?
Disneyland. In Disney World, yes. In David's Disney World Harry Potter version, yes, you're partners. But when you
Harry
lose
Potter's
your
Universal, Disney has nothing to do with that.
You
by the
are
way.
getting
Right, I can't say
sued
that word, right?
by 7 people
So,
right now.
when you
And I've
lose
got
your
Bonnie
job
Ellison and her
and
sister
you
that are
open
going to
a
cut you.
business by default, and then you grow it slowly. That's all I'm saying.
You know, I understand both sides. I do understand. It's a
But he
it's a
understands
difficult
my
dichotomy.
side better because it leads to financial success.
Say something
Ouch.
supportive to people who are struggling.
It is a struggle.
No. I want to say something honest to people who are struggling.
Use ChatGPT. There's your honesty.
No. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I want to say it is hard.
It is hard.
It is hard. And if you have a partner in with you, guess what? It's just as hard for them as it is for you.
That's
but,
true.
But if you keep pushing and you keep going, but if you give up midways, everybody loses.
Winston Churchill.
You got to go forward.
Winston Churchill once said, "When you're going through hell, keep going."
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Disney. We're gonna search it back to Disney.
It all comes back to Disney.
So we've got little memory lapse blue fish from whatever Finding Nemo.
Yeah,
Just
Dory.
keep swimming. Dory, yes, Dory.
Memory
just keep
lapse
swimming.
bluefish.
You've got Meet the Robinsons. Just keep going. And I mean that was one of Walt Disney's own things. Just keep going.
I never said quit.
Don't quit. It's hard. It sucks. Sometimes she's going to beat your ass. Sometimes you're going to be like, "Grr."
Most of the time.
And you know what? Just keep going. Give up is not an option. Not an option.
And you never gave up. And you know
The
what? You
only
never
time
have.
you
You
fail,
never have. We'll give
the
you that.
only time you fail is when you give up.
That's true.
Every other time you learn.
It's you know what? Even failure is the best.
I don't know
learning
what's
opportunity.
happening
Are
here.
we? Are we? Wow.
We
We're
have
getting
been
great
brought up.
service here.
We've got
Nice. Thank you.
so what? Okay, so you just woofed it down.
this
so
is
what do we
the
got here? We
cream
got-
from the cream puff.
It's the Oreo filling of the cream puff.
Okay, so
Oreo filling of the cream puff. Thank
we've
you.
got the that looks.
Nice. This is good stuff.
That is okay,
Mm.
I know it's good because I've had it in the past.
Mm.
Oh my lord!
Oh my god.
So good.
Mm.
This is my favorite part of the show.
Yes, indeed.
Speaking of which,
I'm done arguing. I'm out. That's delicious.
did
She
you
knew
see
we all
that
had low blood
Shorzy
sugar.
on Hulu? Did you see that Shorzy's on Hulu?
And we're back.
And we're back.
It's the best show ever.
No,
So, con number
we
4
just skipped
was
everything in the last 10 seconds. Didn't exist.
Con number 4 was budgetary limitations. Con number 5. Con number 5 is
love it. It's fucking hilarious.
con number 5 is Shorzy because it's not as hilarious as people think it is. No, con number 5 is potential for abuse.
Yes.
We all know that person
Yep.
who, guess what? They're going to say, you know what? I got it for this time. Why am I going to pay next time? And they
Yeah.
will con you out of every free sample you ever provide.
Push and push and push and push.
They will. And you know what?
That
Those
is not
people,
a customer. That is a leech.
you need to recognize those people and cut them off. Because
Very
it
quickly.
will.
Yeah.
You know what? It doesn't matter what your product or service is. It will happen. I promise you.
Can be it can be family, can be
Mm-hmm.
friend. Most likely, it's one of those two. Cut them off as quick as you can identify.
Right.
So you know, we got let's here move that thing. So we got a couple of free samples, and we are rather picky about. So we pay our beers when we have dinner. We pay. When we talk about a product, we talked about all the stuff we tested out before we decided to go with our broadcast software.
Ecamm Live. We
Ecamm
talk about
Live.
other platforms.
We do all of that on our own dime.
Uh-huh.
None of that comes. We do not allow people to buy us things. So we are talking. I'm gonna flip these around backwards so you guys can really
Nicole
see.
Leffingwell says, keep moving forward. Nikki, you're a smart lady.
Well, I mean, that's Disney. That's Meet the Robinsons. So we're very picky about it. We don't want people spending their marketing dollars here. While we actually do have a pretty decent reach across,
Right.
and it's just shocking to say this, across the globe,
Yeah.
we have a decent reach across the globe. There are better ways, return on investment, to spend those marketing dollars.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
and this right here is actually not aimed at this channel.
Oh, you know the funny thing. So my other live stream and video channel I have on YouTube, Order of the Pipe. So there have been companies who've approached me and said, we want to pay you to do ads, to run ads on your videos, where basically, you know, I'll promote the product on my video.
Yeah.
And I've turned them down. Instead, you know what I did? I gave them free marketing advice. Said, you know what? You should do this instead.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I don't want their marketing dollars. I want them to be successful because I actually like their product or service.
Hold on a second. We have the viewership, we have the watch hours on both. On Facebook, we have the watch hours to monetize our channel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We don't do it.
You're right.
We don't do
We
it.
literally
don't-
have global viewership.
Yeah, we have global viewership with shockingly thousands of hours of of viewers.
Shockingly.
And
That's not even an exaggeration.
It is crazy. It is crazy the amount of people who go back and watch our show from start to
David,
finish,
you want some more?
especially on days. No, I'm good. Watch our show from start to finish, and it is. she gave me water.
I love it.
Um,
So awesome.
She's the best.
Man, yeah, she's awesome. So we all lost. Nobody came up here drunkenly and talked.
Right. Yeah, there's nobody, not a single one.
Nobody
Yeah, not
ever-
one.
We have some weird looks. That's about it. That's about
Yeah,
all
we've got a lot of looks. A lot of people over here. We should start pointing to people. That's usually what it is. When
They
I start
don't like,
pointing to
David,
start
people
pointing to
don't
over
like
here.
that when you do that, by the
So,
way.
They do. They
You
come up
have
here, they
been
come up
cut
here.
off at very
No.
high profile places for pointing at people and calling them by the wrong
yes,
name.
Yes.
So
Well,
finish your point,
I mean,
though. Finish your point.
I don't even remember what point I was making, but the bottom line is, Matt wanted to talk, and I didn't want him to talk
Oh,
yet.
no, it was a timely joke, and it's blown now.
All right. So,
Okay.
look. So
So-
those are the pros and cons
Yes.
of giving your product away for free. Now, look, I have some ideas about how to give your product or service away for free and still come out on top, okay? Now, look, you got to understand, samples will still cost you. There's a small cost involved in this. There absolutely is. You got to have stuff printed up. You got to buy the bags. It takes time to fill these things. It costs, there's product involved.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There are other ways that you can go about promoting your product or service in ways that will actually reduce these costs. You can still factor it into marketing dollars,
Yeah,
and
you
it
need
all works out in the end. Okay, get this. I'll give the example of a marketing agency who's starting up, okay?
Market media.
Hypothetically, if there were a fundraiser coming up, right? That you're sort of quasi-organizing. Guess what? You can do the marketing for that event, and you can use that event as a resume piece or as a portfolio piece, and say, hey, look how successful this thing was. Look at all the marketing we did, and you can actually look at the response rates. Getting back to really nerdy number stuff, the response rates of how successful your different campaigns were associated with that event. Guess what? That event is your client. That event, yeah, it costs you money. It costs you time. But that event, when successful, is a really high-profile client. And you can use that. And you can go to similar clients and similar events and say, hey, look what I did over here. Guess what I can do for you? You're paying me, which means I can do a lot more for you than I did over here. And even so, nobody has to know that you did this work for free. We mentioned that earlier. When you give your product or service away for free, nobody needs to know
Yeah.
it was for free.
Yeah.
Or you could work for nonprofits and boost their response rates.
Yeah, there's a lot in there in marketing, and I talk to a lot of people, and I'm in the sales world.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of my day-to-day business, and I tell people that they need to, even salesmen, you need to focus on your marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to salesmen over here, over there, not physically, none of them are here, but I tell them all the time, constantly, focus. What is your marketing? What is your marketing? What email are you saying? Well, I don't know. You need to know, because the more focused and the more niched down that you are, and the more you are targeting your key avatar, because I haven't said avatar tonight, your key demographic, psychographic, and geographic, the more that you are targeting those characteristics with your dollars,
Mm-hmm.
the easier the sales are. You're not
Right.
out there driving for sales. You're out there processing sales.
Absolutely.
And you can process a whole lot more sales than you can push for. So
Right.
if you're out there trying to fight and grab sales, your marketing is not where it needs to be.
Right, absolutely. So you got to be creative with how you give stuff out for free.
Yes.
So, here's another example. Let's say you have a dog deodorizing spray company,
Yes.
Stevie Evans of Big
Stevie.
Bentley's Pet Supply.
Big Bentley's Pet
Here-
Supply.
and here's what I suggest you can do. Get small 2-ounce bottles of your product. Guess what? Make 100 of those and give them to a local dog rescue company.
Yep.
And with the little welcome package they give with their dogs to these new families,
Yep.
is a small bottle of Big Bentleys. And guess what's going to happen? That new dog's going to have a couple accidents. That family's going to come back and say, man, this Big Bentley stuff worked great. They're going to buy your product or service. That small
So-
2-ounce bottle, it cost you money. But guess what? You're going to be making more money back in the end.
What would you?
Wait, are you going to say something stupid?
No.
All right.
What would you suspect, Wes, that the ROI would be on that package?
Well, it depends on the product or service.
Well, what you just described.
What I just,
0.89.
what I just described. So the return on investment is, guess what? Those samples can count against marketing dollars, which means you can take that out of your taxes. Meaning, all that you sell can be deducted from that amount.
Okay.
Additionally,
Do not
so that
follow
factors
us for
against,
tax advice.
So that factors against your ROI. So now you got to say, okay, what I couldn't deduct still comes out of actual cost. Okay, actual cost is maybe, let's say, hypothetically half of what I spent on those samples. And if you sell, again, I don't know his margins, but I'm going to make up numbers.
should be at least 75%.
There you go. Let's say, so he needs to sell, 1/3 of the amount of product that he normally would have in order to cover that cost.
Yeah.
That's terrible math and a terrible example. Again, don't take tax advice from the Underdog Journey. Take marketing advice.
Take marketing, advertising, and sales advice from us, and business management advice from us.
But
Taxes,
it still holds
you
true.
want to get a hold of a professional on that.
But
So
no,
I
your
think-
samples still count towards marketing dollars. That's actually
Yes.
factual.
And that is
Now,
some
talk to
things
your
that you
tax
can do.
advisor on how to actually apply that.
Yeah.
But it's still factual.
I
Yeah.
have some
Okay.
exciting news that I will share
All
with
right,
you.
I
before
think we need to wrap up.
This is the last thing. This is important.
All right, okay, all right. You give me
It's-
your
it's-
mic or my
it's-
mic?
It's good. I'll take his because he doesn't take his away. So, the other day I'm taking this entrepreneurial class in college, and we went over and they had a tax attorney come in, and while he was talking, I was starting the building blocks of my customer avatars. And I realized midway through this, listening to this attorney, that I'm going to need to change my branding. That
Right.
my name is not going to apply my Little Red Hen logo. Little Red Hen is not going to. It's almost a silly name for certain types of, like, if I'm doing romantic or couple engagement, they're not going to want a Little Red Hen logo on their photos. So I don't need to lose
I
the
agree
Little
with
Red
this.
Hen. I just need to maybe use the initials. But that would be several sets of branded watermarks.
So, I don't think rebranding is all bad. I don't think Little Red Hen is terrible. But you're right. So there are things. There's actually a really good example. There's a really good example. KFC. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Actually, a few years ago, moved away from Kentucky Fried Chicken. They changed
few
all of their
years ago?
branding.
A few years
I'm
ago.
very old. I'm very old. They moved away from the branding of Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC. And guess what? It's a lot more modern. It's a lot more catchy. It's still the same chicken. Same
Give me some
same
fried
same
chicken.
32 herbs and spices. Is that the ice cream? I don't know. Same herbs and spices, but guess what?
Baskin Robbins.
It's a lot more catchy.
Yes, indeed. So I think we went over it pretty well tonight. I think we're in good shape. I think, all in all, that the conversation was, not dictated by Matt here in the middle. And so we went through 5 pros, 5 cons for the giving away product or services for free, kind of pitfalls that you need to watch out for. And that's really what you need to take away from this tonight's show is what were the pitfalls that you can get. And, we know what the rewards are.
Yep.
The rewards are revenue and margin. And, in my world, in my brain, I'll take margin over revenue almost any day. I need
You're
the
right.
revenue there, but I need the margin as well.
Right. If the margin's
revenue
not
without
there,
margin is
right.
useless, but margin, I'll take it.
yeah. The
So-
volume, and the volume is flexible.
Yeah, volume is, exactly. If you're getting a great margin, you can lower your volume. And there's things that we can do. So if you have questions, if you have things that you want to ask about, just reach out to us. Both of us, I need you to lean back some. Both of us we're constantly looking at things, and we work with companies, 5 to 6 days a week to help them grow. It literally,
That's what we
we
do.
do this because this is what we like to do.
Right.
So
That's it.
if you got a spot and you're like, hey, I've got a very shoestring budget, we're going to take a look at your business. We're going to take a look at your demographic, your geographic, your psychographic, and we're going to build a plan just for you. You can reach out to us. And we also own Remarket Media, and absolutely happy to step in and help.
That's it. Look, I couldn't say it any better.
I hope so. I slurred on one word there.
Only
I was
one.
trying to say happy and
Look,
help at the same time, and it did not work out well.
Only one word slurred, so
Okay,
we're ahead
okay,
for the evening.
okay.
So with
Actually,
that,
I'm drinking water now.
ChatGPT, try and translate that.
I have one more year before I have to even think about customers. So one more year, and then you can reach out to me.
You
as
should
well.
always think about customers.
Always.
I'm on
Always.
vacation.
Look, the fact that you're actually here talking about marketing
You're thinking about customers.
before your peers in your classes, you're that much further ahead. Not just in actual years you've been on this earth.
Because there's a lot.
it's a lot, Matt.
So,
it's a lot.
On that note, I think it's been a lovely and wonderful evening. I can't wait to watch your Order of the Pipe over on YouTube with the Park Lane, because I want to see you.
Yeah.
I want to see you on
I
these.
can't wait to try those samples.
And I think it should be great. I think it's been a wonderful night. And I want to say toodaloo to all you guys out there in TV land.
With that, I've been Wes. This guy's been Matt. That guy's been David. We've been at the Hoffer House, and we will see you guys next week. Later.
Wait, I got to do the peace sign.
It is.
That's right.
No, we do peace.
Fantastically infatuated with the in-between, the ups and downs, the curves and the rounds. I bring it to your city or your hometown. I go back in time when the feeling was fine, when funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way, a bigger celebration than your birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. The neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. And I have seen the world pristine, funk you up in the bushes, funk you down in the trees. Now look around, all the frowns, the yellow, the white, the red and the brown. And keep in mind, it never costs a dime, 'cause funkin' is free, I remember the time. Now look today, the streets are gray, time to take it back to yesterday. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funk was good. It was good in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt full 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt cool 'cause the funk was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods.